today, and much appreciated. I'm going to introduce Councillor Jo Wright, who's our Cabinet Minister for Transport. Many of you will know her, to do a quick introduction before we start the main presentation. Jo?
Can you all hear me all right? Do you want me to use the microphone? No? Well, it's lovely to see all of you here. Thank you very much for coming this afternoon. You're looking good as councillors in the chamber, so this is how it feels. First of all, I am delighted to welcome Councillor Clive Oates, who is Deputy Leader at Waltham Forest in North London, to Bath and North East Somerset, to tell us all about implementing low traffic neighbourhoods. As they say, if you can't take Muhammad to the mountain, then you need to take the mountain to Muhammad. And clearly, after hearing Clive speak recently in Oxford, it is quite clear that the work that has been undertaken in Waltham Forest has generated a great deal of interest nationally and internationally. And that Clive is quite clearly a mountain. And has kindly brought himself to tell us about how he works with his officers and residents to deliver low traffic neighbourhoods. As you are no doubt aware, we are a new administration, and we were elected with a significant majority in Bath and North East Somerset, and have a clear mandate to deliver on our manifesto commitments. These centred around the climate emergency and included many commitments to transport and connectivity, and included low traffic neighbourhoods. I'm aware, as a previous campaigner, and now as an elected councillor, of the many issues that we as an administration are bombarded with. Rat running, congestion, air pollution, parking, to name just some of the daily issues that we are challenged by. However, transport is just one of the improvements that we need to deliver on. The health and well-being of our community is important, and how we work across the administration to consider changes to the way we live, both to save the planet and to remain healthy, are challenges that we all need to work towards. This is why I'm so pleased that so many of you from different departments have taken the time to come here to hear Clive speak. The effect that low traffic neighbourhoods can bring are of benefit to the environment, to health, and importantly to social justice. Today we know that 29% of carbon emissions are transport related in this authority, and that 43% of all journeys in Bath are journeys less than 3 kilometres long. In the next 2 years, we will be implementing low traffic neighbourhoods, and I know that you will need to learn from others who have undertaken how to do this work. So I am very pleased again to say that Clive will speak to you now about that subject. We will be filming the first hour of the presentation, which will in due course go live on the internet. However, when it comes to questions and answers, the filming will stop. I really wanted to make sure that all of you were in a safe space, so I have asked that there are no other councillors actually in this room. I really realise that you might want to ask questions at the end that might seem a little bit delicate or politically sensitive. So I just want you to feel as safe and as secure as possible to ask what questions that you really feel want to give answers to from Clive. We have a great opportunity in this moment. Chris Major will be sharing these questions at the end. This opportunity to have Clive with us is really important, and I very much want to thank the head of this board for taking his time to come to Bath to speak to us. Clive, you are an inspiration.
That's right.
I know he has put on his best outfit.
Thank you, Jo, and thank you for inviting me down. I've never actually been to Bath, so it's first to me. What a splendid town centre that you have. Very grand council chamber. Those of you who don't know me, I'm a councillor in Waltham Forest, which is North East London. It's Chingford, Walthamstow, Leytonstone. It's the home of Leighton Orients, the birthplace of David Beckham, Alfred Hitchcock, Damon Albarn, loads of really famous people, including Fanny Craddock as well. It's a complicated political area, as you can imagine. We have 3 MPs, Stella Creasy for Walthamstow, John Cryer for Leighton, and Ian Duncan-Smith for Chingford. The political makeup of the council there is 46 Labour councillors, of which I am one, and 14 Conservative councillors. I was leader of the council between 2003 and 2009 when I led a joint administration with Liberal Democrats. So I do have some experience of that kind of political direction. So it's a little bit about me, and I've been a councillor for 22 years now, solidly. We have elections in all our 2 years, and we had our council elections in May 2018. I can get a little bit excited when I present to such an amazing audience that you all look like you are. I can occasionally move into slightly flowery language, so I do apologise, although I'll try and keep that to a minimum today because we are being filmed and I wouldn't want this to be rated as an 18. There may be a slide or two in here that also is a little bit more on the provocative side, so my apologies in advance if you are offended. I think it would become quite obvious which slide it is. I'm going to talk to you about the journey that we've been on in Waltham Forest in delivering what's Transport for London, called the Mini Holland scheme. It was something that was dreamt up by our current Prime Minister when he was Mayor of London. I'm sure you all know Boris Johnson is a big cycling advocate, and this is one of the things that he did whilst he was Mayor of London. Okay, so let's make a start. Any questions before I start? Does anyone want to leave the room? Anyone more already? Okay, right, let's go. Okay, so what is Enjoy Waltham Forest and what is it all about? So Enjoy Waltham Forest is in fact Waltham Forest Mini Holland. I will flip between the two. We changed the name because the branding of Mini Holland got a little bit challenging, a little bit toxic after a while, and we thought Enjoy encapsulated better what we were about in delivery. So, it has a number of objectives, you can see, I'm in your way. Literally, it is about encouraging more active travel, prioritising active travel for the ways around getting around Waltham Forest, which is an outer London borough. 60% of all car journeys single occupancy, 60% of all car journeys are under 2 miles. Mini Holland, as a TfL Boris Johnson concept, was designed for the outer London boroughs to bid for. Every single one of the outer London boroughs bid for it. 3 were successful, Waltham Forest, Enfield and Kingston. We all shared a pot of 100 million, of around about 100 million pounds. Waltham Forest actually got the least of the 3. We got 27 million pounds to spend. So it was about active travel, it was about cycling, it was about walking, it was about kind of pushing the boundaries, testing kind of design principles. It was about all of those things. It was about working with our kind of growth agenda in Waltham Forest. It was actually about putting Waltham Forest on the map through international best practice, as well as supporting a wide range of other corporate objectives such as health and well-being. This is Waltham Forest. For those of you who don't know, this is Chingford up here in the north. This area here is Walthamstow, and here in the south we have Leighton and Leytonstone, and that's where I live, somewhere about there. The scheme was, what we decided to do in our bid was to create what we call a number of villages, what are now really considered to be low traffic neighbourhoods, Liverpool neighbourhoods. They keep getting rebranded. There was a major cycle route built in Healey Bridge Road. It's our number 1 road for all modes of traffic: buses, cars, logistics. It was the busiest road for cycling in the first place because it connects Redbridge here with Hackney and central London here. So huge amounts of movement down this road. So that was one of our big schemes. And then there was a number of different smaller schemes in other parts of the borough. The main criteria of Mini Holland was it had to be linked to your main metropolitan town centre. and that is Walthamstow, which is round about here, this area here. So the focus had to be on Walthamstow and then connectivity with the rest of the borough. It was also about complementary measures, so not just about cycling and walking infrastructure. It was about cycle training, it was about cycle parking, it was increasingly about kind of giving grants to people to help them encourage more people to walk and take on some of these opportunities. And it was also about cycle clubs at train stations and tube stations. We have 4 tube stations and about 6 train stations in the borough. And kind of completion, we're a population of about 280,000. So what have we done? The first scheme, probably the most controversial, was Walford Road. It is Walford Road is in the centre of the first village scheme, Walthamstow Village, as a very small, very traditional shopping parade located in it, in a very highly residential area. However, we went through a consultation process, went through an engagement process, and what became apparent was we were talking too much about cycling, when actually what we needed to talk about was active travel. And this is where we kind of quickly kind of changed our way of engaging with people and our approach. So normally in Waltham Forest, probably generally in London, you probably get about 2% return rate on a consultation for a highway, it's a traditional highway scheme. For this one, we had a response rate of 25%. So literally, working for households responding to the consultation. Highly controversial. You could not go anywhere on social media. You could not pick up our weekly newspaper and not read someone's view on this scheme. Everyone was talking about it. It was the first scheme to hit the road of all 3 of the Mini Holland boroughs. This is just on the opening of the scheme. So clearly there are 1 or 2 supporters here, but mostly people opposed to the scheme. We love a prop in Waltham Forest to kind of demonstrate how angry we are. Nothing like a politician being photographed next to a coffin. Nothing like it. Tick box, done. That's never going to get any better. We love a little bit of emotive language in Waltham Forest as well. Yeah, Berlin Wall quotations, North Korea quotations, all of that we had in this. Actually, at this open event, it was the first day of the Dutch Ambassador's Day in office. So we invited him along to come and open the scheme, and he kind of turned up with these little bags of souvenirs, strewn waffles, and out. That's what he thought was going to be a very grateful crowd. Needless to say, he didn't actually show his face. He did not leave the building that we kind of corralled him into once we realised it was going to be a little bit aggressive. But the key to this particular victory is, as a politician, I fronted this up. I didn't leave it to my officers. I didn't leave it up to community activists that have kind of been working with us. I went out there and literally spent 2 hours being harangued and mobbed and filmed by very angry people who literally thought civilization was going to collapse. They literally thought that this scheme in a conservation area that was built and designed and put in place before cars were even invented, never mind mass car ownership, they thought by putting in place some modal filters, what we call modal filters, what they call road closures. They're modal filters because people on bikes and pedestrians can still use those roads fully, just about others can't. They thought that civilization was going to collapse. It would be the end of this very small shopping parade. That was it. Of course it wasn't, but there's that little bit of flowery language. We had a lot of that. Probably a bit like here, since 2010, we've taken out hundreds of millions of pounds from our council budgets with regard to social care, all sorts of other budget headlines, not so much as a single demonstration on the town hall steps. Post closing 40 roads to Ratlands, we have the biggest demonstration in the borough's 50-year history. 500 people on the town hall steps, all chanting an expletive before councillor, an expletive before Clyde, an expletive before the loads, and an expletive just to round it off afterwards. It was pretty unpleasant stuff. But we knew it was the right thing to do for the right reasons. In some respects, the fact that the Labour group saw me getting so much grief actually secured me a little bit more support, I think. So this is what Orford Road used to look like, 2,500 vehicles a day. The yellow lines there constantly being ignored and parked upon. Tiny width of pavement, so if you had a pushchair, you had a mobility scooter, you'd be forced into the road because the selfish car drivers thought it was their right and entitlement to park on double yellow lines and park on the pavement. Actually, it was not a nice place to go. Actually, business there, and trying to kind of earn money, you probably weren't maxing out as much as you could, just simply because of the vehicle and driver behaviour in that space. So very unpleasant, challenging space. And of course, it was always cloudy and miserable. The sun never came out. This is what it looks like now. Sun is always out in the road. But no, this is what we have now. Very significant pedestrian priority. Lots of planting. Businesses now putting out tables and chairs. It really works. It's a timed closure at this particular location. So 10 in the morning to 10 at night, the only traffic, motorised traffic that can go up this road, which is now one way as opposed to two way as well, is a little hot bus. And if you drive up here, there is a camera just outside the step here, and one at the other end that will take a picture of you and find you. And it works. People just take over the road space now. They're walking, scooting, cycling along it, and it really works. And there is a real buzz. This is a destination in Waltham Forest now. Before we used to support our pound to Islington and trendy places in Hackney. Actually, now that pound gets spent here, and people are coming here from other boroughs, and it's transformed this small shop, very traditional shopping ground, into a place where people really want to go and spend their time and money. They want to spend their time there because they are not competing with motor traffic for space. They can sit out, they can enjoy, they can meander amongst the shops, restaurants, bars and cafes that are located in this place. This is, symbolic of the change that we have been securing in Waltham Forest via our public realm scheme, via our new Holland and children, by prioritising pedestrians and active travel over motor vehicles needs. And this was just one of the changes that we made in the village scheme. So these are the traffic breakdown difference that we made when we introduced, I think it was about 10 modal filters into the Walthamstow Village scheme. So it's a grid system. All of the village schemes are like grids. So there's like a main road either side of them. See that? So Walthamstow Village one is here. There's actually a road that goes along there. It's not showing up here. So displaced traffic goes onto the main roads that are designed to take major numbers of vehicle movements. So the roads that are designed to take through traffic. Residents can drive into their road and out of their road. They just can't drive through the whole area to bypass traffic lights, roundabouts, the traditional methods of managing high flows of traffic. But that's how it works. They are all grids. So these are the traffic breakdowns. So before we started the process, let's go with one of the more major ones first. West Avenue, 2,000 vehicles a day. Clearly not local residents' vehicles a day. We're using that residential street to get from A to B. We put our closed modal filter in. We saw a drop of 92% in the amount of vehicles. So basically these people These are the businesses associated with residents that are actually on that street rather than people using that residential street for their own convenience. Copeland Road, just here, actually in our original scheme did not have a modal filter in it. The residents there petitioned us during the consultation process to have a modal filter included. And you can see the difference that made. A 97% drop in vehicle movements. Clearly, two roads had slight increases in vehicle movements. East Avenue is still one that we're keeping under review and trying to come up with a satisfactory scheme. Beulah was quite marginal and just about to introduce a school street in the Beulah Road area, and that will probably see traffic reduce significantly further, and we hope also on East Avenue as well. So that's how we're addressing that significant change. Prioritising the residents that live in that area, prioritising take out through traffic so they feel comfortable with walking and cycling and not feeling the need to get into a tin box because everyone else is in a tin box to get around. This is Francis Road. This is what it used to look like. Again, this is the first B road in the country to have a bus gate installed on it. Again, it's another time closure, 10 in the morning till 8 o'clock at night. But a very, very kind of rundown shopping parade, very challenged shopping parade. Again, the priority was speed of traffic, through traffic, parking of cars, literally on the pavement as well, part on the pavement. And again, what we did here was similar to Alford Road. We put the time closure in, enforced by cameras. And we've seen a real increase in kind of small and emerging businesses taking the vacant commercial units in this and totally reinvented it. Again, this is now a destination where people want to go to spend time, spend the money, and enjoy themselves. There's some very nice shops there, some very nice restaurants, and other opportunities there. Businesses and residents kind of constantly having street parties and such like, and they've taken on the ownership and marketing of the scheme as well, because it's a quality scheme. They want to have that ownership and they want to keep it like that. They know the quality of the scheme needs that people will come and visit it. But again, put that to that, who would want this? This is a small shopping parade in a predominantly residential area. And they've totally brought it back to what it would have been like many, many years ago, and very successfully like that. So this is Neighbourhoods Road. So this is probably our biggest single piece of infrastructure that we kind of completed around about October last year. Neighbourhoods Road is, as I said, a very lengthy road, the busiest road in the borough for every mode of traffic. This is what it used to look like. This is how we used to prioritise pedestrians and cyclists. This is a cycleway, and these are pedestrians on the pavement. This is how we used to prioritise active travel, people doing the right thing in Walton Forest. This is what it looks like now. We totally rebuilt this bridge, created decent width and created segregated cycle track on both sides. We've taken out bus lanes. Bus lanes, were an approach to moving lots of people around very quickly a number of years ago, but there are different ways of doing that now. So we've taken some bus lane out on Neighbourhoods Road, kept some, and we're using kind of modern approaches to kind of improve it and increasing bus flow to manage that. Not least because these were part-time bus lanes, so you get cars parked in here at certain times of the day. The buses could then never get out of the bus lane. It was a bad idea. What we've seen is some improvements in bus times and efficiency as a consequence. Everyone's gaining on this. And because Transport for London was so impressed with this scheme, they've now sanctioned and given us some money to extend it further north, right up to the Redbridge roundabout. And our colleagues in Hackney are now taking this scheme further into the direction of central London. So we've got about 8 kilometres of segregated cycle track on Neighbourhoods Road. That's how we treat people. We've got rid of lots of the, I can't think you've seen them, See this here, lots of the informal crossing points, so it's kind of traditional pedestrian refuge in the middle of main road. Really, really helpful for encouraging more people to walk, isn't it? When you ask them to stand in the middle of a main road, taking those up, more traffic lights, more formal crossing points in place, taking out all the hatching to give us that extra capacity so we can put in wider pavements, wider cycle track. And that's what we do now as a norm. We're constantly taking out hatching. It's a waste of space, has no purpose whatsoever. And of course, we've reduced the speed of Lee Bridge Road from 30 miles an hour down to 20 miles per hour, which means all of the roads, apart from the extreme north of the borough, are now 20 mph rather than 30 mph. You cannot do livable neighbourhoods unless you get your speeds down, and you cannot successfully do speed reduction unless it is consistent across your place. So, you know, if you're going to do it here, the whole of the council area needs to be done. You can't just do a pocket here and a pocket there, because you need compliance. We all know you can't enforce speed, and you can only do the infrastructure. You can only tackle the behaviours. And there's that kind of consistency that you need to be able to do that. Okay, so it's quite often people say, oh, no one wants this. What we do before every scheme, we do something called a perception survey. So we ask people, visitors, businesses, residents, what they like and don't like about their place. And it kind of throws up some different ideas around kind of priorities. So the most interesting one on this one, so this was Lee Bridge Road, it's our busiest road in the borough. And it's interesting the difference between what businesses think and what visitors think. So businesses always want more and better car parking. And if it's free, even better. Actually, it doesn't even factor on what visitors want. Car parking is not a priority for visitors. What else? Better located car parking. This is what visitors want. Better crossings, less traffic, technically cycle lanes, pedestrian signage. That's what they want. How do people get to a place? Businesses always assume that everyone drives to a place. 63%. Actually, here it was 20%. And again, they totally misread how many people walk in there. You've got it actually right on the cycling. But again, you've got that constant tension. What will make it a better place? Again, better crossing, less traffic. Do these kind of exercises and you start to build up your kind of data in the open space to support some of the radical changes that you all want to deliver over time. After the perception survey, we'll then go into what we call residence workshops, and we'll invite people in from that particular area to come and talk to us about some ideas that we're kind of working on as a consequence of what people told us from our perception survey. We then test out those ideas a little bit further. We give them the big maps and say, where would you put the modal filter to address this particular value? We give them that information and that knowledge, and they come back to us. We then have some informal conversations with places of worship, business groups, residents groups, just to kind of firm up whether we're kind of doing this before going out to a formal consultation on a scheme. So, but we do all of that within 6 months. And we're on site then within another 6 weeks later. We do things fast in Northern Forest, certainly for London terms, because you need to kind of give that sense of purpose and ownership and responsiveness. We also like to do a lot of our stuff and ensure there's a lot of greening, and obviously a climate emergency now, big push on kind of making sure we're planting lots of trees, lots of wildflower meadow opportunities in the kind of very tight urban area like Northern Forest. Road space that we can reclaim to do this is really, really important to us, particularly for pollinators. So a lot of our schemes, do have a lot of tree planting and a lot of greenery associated with them. Again, they make for nicer places to walk and cycle, rather than combating tin boxes on the road or at the side of the road. We've created, I think it's 15 pocket parks now in Waltham Forest by narrowing junctions, as is the case here. So this kind of more darker tarmac area used to be part of the road width. So you can imagine cars turning in and out here. You used to be able to go extremely fast to do that move because the road junction was so wide. By kind of reducing the width of that junction, you've slowed traffic down. By reducing the width of that junction, you've taken out residential car parking spaces. By also doing that, you've created the opportunity for a very small pocket park. We've taken out around about 800 residence car parking spaces in the last 12 months alone through our schemes. And that's constantly winning the features of the work that we're doing. All of these now are being entered into kind of Brittany Blue kind of competitions, and they keep kind of winning, and they're all maintained by residents. Residents who partook in the perception survey, then partook in the residents' workshops, so they've got a sense of ownership of these schemes. And they're quality schemes. You can do all of this extremely cheaply if you really wanted to, by just putting bollards around where you wanted to define the reduced junction amount, or you can put planters in and put extra trees in. You can do a quality scheme, and that's what then gets residents on side and want to have that ownership and want to help you maintain it, so they feel like you're treating them very nicely. And that's what we're seeing with these schemes increasingly. So Which Cross Roundabout, anyone know Waltham Forest at all? Yeah, you know Which Cross Roundabout? Right, okay, so this is Which Cross Roundabout as it used to be. There was no signals on it. If you were a cyclist, you would have to go all the way around here. It was really unpleasant, it was really fast. If you were a bus user, you'd have to, buses would pull in here, and there's very little capacity for buses. This, for those who oppose all that we do, people said was quality amenity space. All of these trees here were largely dead, diseased or dying. You would take their life into your hands to access this powerful quality amenity space. This is Epping Forest, ancient woodland, kind of maintained by the Corporation of London. This is what we have built in its place, which is a modern interchange with future-proofed bus capacity at this station. We've got a lot of buses that can actually use this space. Planted something like 80 trees in the space. We've got sustainable planting, sustainable drainage planting around it. We've actually handed back to Epping Forest, for the first time in those 50 years, 1,800 square metres of land that can be used for real quality amenity forest land. So rather than take land that we have been doing for many years to increase road space in Waltham Forest from the city, from the Epping Forest, we've actually handed land back to them. And that's that kind of sustainability, that kind of climate emergency. That's what we're looking to do. Give land back to forest use, give land back to planting use that was previously being used for highway capacity. And this works really well. We've got segregated cycle track now, very significant pedestrian capacity all around here. If you're cycling along here, you get to these lights here, it will recognise that you're there, the lights will change literally straight away, cycle down here, and then the lights will still over this side, still be in the same phase, so you can cross straight over. It's that kind of level of priority for cycling that encourages more people to cycle. If you're stopping and starting at every single set of signals, it does not encourage it. It's that kind of quality that you see on the continent, particularly in Denmark, particularly in Holland as well, that we've been adopting and trying to bring over here. And this is the kind of top end of where the League Bridge Road scheme currently ends, and we're extending further up that way. I'd say 80 new trees planted in this location as well. Blended crossings, probably one of the more controversial aspects of our scheme, but we know the highway code says if you're crossing a junction on a side road, you have priority as a pedestrian. You have priority. It's not the car, it's you as a pedestrian have priority. And but of course, we know that pedestrians all the time get to the curb line and defer to the demands and needs of the car driver. So we've introduced over 100 of these blended crossings already. There is no demarcation. These are entry points to residential areas. They are not entry points to main roads. So all of these roads are 20 mph. All of these roads have had low traffic neighbourhood kind of treatments. So there is mobile filters in place throughout them. So the only people largely using these entry points should be residents, local residents to those areas. So we've seen, we did some monitoring of the junction before we put the treatment in and after, and we've seen increased driver behaviour in support of the measures that we've put in place. So drivers are stopping here increasingly and are stopping here to allow pedestrians to cross. Of course, we've also taken out the need for kind of drop curbs, people with buggies, people with mobility scooters, so you're actually making the pedestrian environment a lot more accessible to a lot more people. But at some point, someone has to kick back and challenge the dominance of the car in our local areas. And it's only by putting in and reinforcing what is already in the highway code that you start to get to that place. As soon as you start putting demarcation lines down, the tactiles, you're all of a sudden telling pedestrians to stop. You are basically handing back to the motorists their right of way rather than the pedestrians' right of way. So these are slightly more controversial part of our scheme, but they have worked and are starting to work really, really well. And we're rolling them out all the time, and we're now seeing more than the boroughs adopt these blended crossings as a response to improving pedestrian accessibility. So here's a summary of some of our achievements that I'm constantly trying to update. So 51 mobile filters we've introduced so far over the past 5 years across all of our schemes. 30 kilometres of segregating, mostly segregated, it's only a tiny bit, but 70% segregated cycle lanes built. Cycle increase has increased by 103%, admittedly from a very, very low base. That looks quite good and that's why it's on the slide, but it is from a very, very low base, but it is very significant for us. Car usage has dropped by 7%. Also, 118 pedestrian crossings improved. I've updated the 91 safe junction, that's over 100 now. Pocket parks, 800 new trees as a consequence of this scheme alone. We planted us, regardless of what our annual tree planting activities. That is just a part of this highway scheme. It's actually 850 on street car parking spaces we've removed in 2019 alone. And that will be through a combination of different measures. It'll be because, we'll come on to talk about in a minute, our cycle hangers. It'll be because we put double yellow lines in. It'll be a number of different measures that will achieve that. And 7 cycle hubs at our stations. We'll talk about those in a minute. Type crossings, for those who don't know, is a pedestrian crossing. There's also the same for cyclists, so if people up to it, just like a pedestrian goes the right way, the cyclist also has the right of way. Air quality, big challenge in London. 10,000 Londoners die prematurely every year because of poor air quality. 300 of those are in Waltham Forest. It's about 270 now, but and this was about 300. So this is Waltham Forest in 2007. About 60,000 households were exposed to illegal levels of NOx emission. That's about 2/3 of the borough. At that point, we're about 90,000 households. So 2/3 of the borough were exposed to illegal NOx. This is 2017. This is 3 years after we started our Mini Holland programme. Admittedly, between 2007 and 2017, you will have seen significant technology developments. You will see probably a decrease in car ownership in the borough, but you can see where we've implemented our village schemes, which are these areas here, compared to here. You can see that we've really made a difference by taking out all that through traffic from those residential areas. We commissioned King's College to do a report for us on our air quality and how our Mini Holland work was impacting on air quality, and they found that baby being born in 2013 would now live 6 weeks longer as a consequence of our highways schemes because we'd improved air quality. So not, public health or anything like that, it's because of a highway scheme. Highway scheme impacting significantly on the health and well-being of our residents. They also found that PM2.5 levels had reduced as well, which is obviously a very important thing for us. And so we now have 6,300 households only exposed to illegal levels of noise emission. Still too many. That's a far better figure to be kind of working on and trying to come up with solutions than nearly 60,000. These are some of the cycling and walking routes that King's College looked at, and it shows you the percentage change as a consequence of some of the schemes that we put in. So let's look, just the percentage change reductions in the schemes. Complementary measures. So talked a lot about infrastructure, and we're kind of redesigning the public realm, but actually complementary measures is equally, if not of more importance to us now. You know that if you build the infrastructure, then it will get used, but for those people who are wedded to the fact that they've been told for decades that car is king, actually you need this package as well. You need schools to be on board, you need free cycle training, you need bike maintenance courses, you need all ability cycle clubs, and the list goes on. In Waltham Forest, you can learn to ride a bike for free if you are any age. You can learn to ride a bike for free if you want to learn to ride a bike with your family. You can learn to ride a bike if you just want to learn with women. You can learn to ride a bike if you have a disability for free. You can do all of those things for free. There's simply no obstacle to learning to ride a bike, which is why we're seeing more and more, probably of our older residents learning to ride a bike as some of our younger residents. We also have a number of very successful cycle clubs that target particular groups in our community who potentially haven't traditionally been people kind of that would want to ride a bike. We have a fleet of cargo bikes, all different shapes and sizes that families and businesses can borrow for free to try out, including e-cargo bikes. Try out before they buy. Cargo bikes are incredibly expensive, a big investment for a family or a business, so we allow them to borrow them. They're actually now booked out a whole fleet from now through to next January already. That kind of scheme is really, really popular, but it's enabling people to test out whether they can survive without having a car or whether their business can go zero emission, delivery free. We have a community walking and cycling fund, which is something that we launched last year, and it's just a tiny pot of cash to kind of help with social prescribing perhaps. Some GPs that may want to prescribe patients to a walking club where we don't have a walking club. We now have a number of walking clubs that kind of meet regularly, for kind of mental health and other well-being agendas as well. We know kind of walking and cycling is really, really powerful in dealing with those kind of challenges and issues. For getting more women cycling, for getting more people from Black and Asian and minority communities walking and cycling. We have a group that supports parents with babies and very small children, the library of different sorts of seats and trailers that they can stick on a traditional bike that lends you the seats and trailers. And they kind of bid for this group, and they kind of work with parents that have always cycled who want to get their babies onto the back of their bike, whatever sort of bike they've got. Just helping break down and reduce the perception and barriers that has stopped more and more people or falling into owning a car when they have a baby in particular. These are some of our cargo bikes. These are quite old ones now, but it just kind of shows you the range that we have. And we also have now, I'm sure my officers keep going out and buying new e-assist cargo bikes because they are very funky and very cool. And we also have a traditional pot of ordinary bikes for people to borrow for free again. And we have children's bikes and we have adults' bikes. We've got about 300. We quite often loan them through schools. People borrow them for a couple of months at a time, just to see if it's the thing that they want to do. We have lots of areas of decoration advice. So actually, families being able to get their kids a bike for free is a really, really powerful tool. Really kind of opening up cycling to a wider group of people. But again, it's a very popular scheme. So the parking, we have a number of these hubs outside our main stations and tube stations. They vary in size. I think the smallest takes about 20 at one of our kind of overground stations. And then we have this monster Leighton tube. It's actually took longer than the Olympic Village to build because it's right up against the A12. Foundations of this are right up against the A12. It's the first two-storey cycle hub in London, possibly the UK, but you can access from here, access from here. People pay a fee for the year, about £25–30, and they get to live their bikes at these platform interchanges. So in here you can have CCTV cameras, you have a panic alarm, you have a tool station with a pump. So, if you come back after a hard day at the office, you've got a flat tyre, you can fix your flat tyre in there. If it's late at night and you're a little bit worried, there's a panic alarm in there. If there's a thief in the area, the CCTV, so all of those things to just kind of reassure the kind of quality that traditionally we would have given to someone in a multi-storey car park, for example. We're now giving that same quality to people that want to park their bikes, because we know bikes are very valuable to many people. So we've got these. We have these resident cycle hangers. We have 400 plus of these now. 4 years ago we had them. Most of any local authority in the UK. They're incredibly popular. We have 3,000 people on our waiting list. We're just about to consult another 100 in row. We have many rows now with 3 and 4 of these on their rows, because householders can only have one space, such as the demand. And of course, you've got one person cycling in the household. There's every chance you've actually got 2, 3, or 4. In many of our properties, because they are flats, they're houses that are converted into flats. Actually, these are invaluable because people don't have the storage capacity in the hallway or the front or back up. And again, people pay a fee to sort their bikes in there for every year. They take up a car parking space. We insist that they are not tucked away around a corner, tucked away where you're not taking away a car parking space. These have every right to be overlooked, just as you would want your car to be overlooked from security purposes. We normally consult you batches around about 50 or 60, although we're just about to go on, I think about 100. We normally lose a couple during that consultation process, but we think more. We'd be surprised how many people think they're ugly. I don't think there's much difference to a car, to be honest, they're about the same size. Apparently they're havens for rats, apparently they're really, really noisy, all of those kind of excuses for those who oppose them, but they are enabling more and more people to cycle more regularly, to fit cycling into the day-to-day routine rather than just using ownership. It's really, really easy to use. So what next for us in Wolf Advice? Well, every kind of highway scheme we now do in Wolf Advice because we've learned so much over the past 5 years from delivering this process, is now seen through the prison of Neighbourhoods. So whether it's a CPC, residence parking permits scheme, whether it's a resurfacing, a traditional maintenance scheme, we'll look at that piece of stretch of road, see if there's an opportunity to put more double lines down. We'll see there's an opportunity to take out hatching. You know, we'll look at everything through the prism of how do we encourage more people to walk and cycle. Have to have 20 MPH to be able to deliver this. You cannot do low traffic neighbourhoods. You cannot begin to civilise your roads in favour of active travel unless you are slowing speeds down. When we slow speeds down, as I said earlier, it's consistent across the whole space and place. However, I'm a big kind of champion. I believe someone has to start enforcing 20 MPH. We put in the infrastructure that begins to slow traffic down, hopefully. We can kind of engender behaviour change, but we cannot, as councils, enforce speed. And police simply do not have the resources to enforce speed, certainly in our residential areas. So I'm a big campaigner for giving councils the powers to enforce, or just someone the powers to enforce, but we need to see that enforcement. If we're really serious about low traffic neighbourhoods, livable neighbourhoods, that has to be put in place. We need a new highway code. The highway code currently, as it stands, still is really about car drivers first and foremost. It's about how they get around. Actually, we need a highway code that actually puts at the forefront active travel users. Walking and cycling needs to be at the forefront of a modern highway code. What else is in there? I think that's pretty much it. The other thing I just mentioned, I've touched on it a couple of times, we've got largely blanket coverage of controlled parking zones throughout the borough south of the A406. A406 is a big kind of boundary between Langstone, Walthamstow and the north of the borough of Chingford. All below the A406 is controlled residents only parking. Again, if you're really serious about low traffic neighbourhoods, you have to get rid of that free parking that draws and induces more traffic into your local residential streets. Free parking in train, tube stations, town centres, leisure centres, schools, you have to have permanent parking in place. Then you start to be dealing with the real challenges, because you know it's about your residents and what they need. Okay, that's me finished.